Hi everyone and welcome back to Amplify. Today's guest is a girl who sings about psychopaths and I love it. But before starting the episode, let's have a look at the previously on Amplify.
But there is this fantastic artist who's called Ocean and the Waves. Um,
Ooh,
she's so brilliant, and I haven't personally met her, but I follow her, and her and Jean has had some interactions, and she's just this amazing singer-songwriter. So yeah.
okay, I'm gonna reach out to her then.
That was actually a small reminder for you guys to watch the episode with Selena Skyland. In today's episode, Ocean will tell us about journaling, misaligned motivations, and finding her sound. So without further ado, Ocean and the Waves.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, how are you, Ocean?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm calling you from Belgium, and
Oh,
so
nice.
yeah, we started the very weird rainy season, which will be probably there instead of snow for a couple of months. So
Oh,
yeah,
no.
where are you now?
I'm in London, but actually it's pretty nice weather, so
Oh, nice.
not doesn't meet the stereotype that I've been told before I moved here. It's pretty nice most of the time, I think.
You've been amplified by Selena Skyland, so
Yeah.
basically that's how I got to know your name, Ocean and the Waves.
Yeah.
While listening to all your songs on Spotify, I have realized that I know you already.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I know your song Loving You. It's on my playlist for like, I don't know, a couple of months now.
Now, 'cause I'm loving, 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 loving you, 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 loving you.
And I'm listening to it pretty often. So that was like, oh my God, seriously, I'm gonna talk to this girl. Really awesome. So let's
That's
start.
sweet. That's very random.
I kind of like the vibe you are going for in your songs because I like melancholic pop, dream pop. Lana
Mm.
Del Rey, I love her forever, and
Oh,
something that gives me a special emotion, a special ambience. I always loved it. Okay, let's start. How do you know Selena Skyland?
so I actually don't know her super well. Um, I think her sister is that Jean?
I think they are just friends. I'm not sure if it's her sister, but yeah, I also know Jean. She was on my show before.
So yeah, so I met her over Instagram first, and we've been following each other for years. And then at some point, Selena followed me as well, and I followed her back. And I sort of know what she does, and I watch all her stuff, and I love whatever she posts. But we haven't spoken much, so I was super surprised. But they were both so sweet, and I was actually going to meet Jean. She was going to move to London, but then COVID happened, and we were actually going to hang out, but then COVID happened, and she wasn't comfortable taking the public transport, and then she moved back home. But I hope I can see her this year. Yeah, so I don't know them super well, but they seem like lovely girls.
Yeah, so where are you actually from? Where did you grow up?
So I was born in Germany, in the Northwest, but then we moved to Mallorca when I was around 11. In Spain. So I grew up in Spain, and Germany, and then I went to school in New York. I studied acting, and then I moved to Berlin to do music, and I traveled around loads. Lived in Canada for a while, and now I'm in London.
And how did you start with the music?
So I started in in my first year, I suppose, of college, because for some reason I really enjoyed acting, but it always felt like I was obviously playing people that weren't me, so I was constantly going through their traumas, and it was really quite taxing emotionally and quite draining. And so to get over that, I would write every night. I would write about the characters that I would play. I would write about my own stories, and that felt so amazing. And I sort of overcame a bunch of like mental issues just through writing because it was such a healthy kind of outlet. for me. So I started doing more music than acting and skipping school and stuff. And then when I finished it, I decided to move to Berlin because my visa was up in New York, and I needed a change of scenery, and Berlin felt like a good place to do music. So I was doing it there for a while, doing like open stages and stuff, and sort of really got into the scene. And then I started releasing music only last year when I was working with the producer. So before that, I'd done everything myself.
You did everything yourself. The songs we hear on Spotify, they are already done with the producer, or there is something?
Yeah, everything on there. I think I have 5 songs. They were all done with the same producer in Berlin. And then before that, I did a bunch of things that were only published on YouTube. So yeah, now I'm looking for a new producer because I moved away. So.
And you are not able to work with him or her on distance?
We tried for a while, but I don't know. At some point, we just didn't vibe as much anymore. I think since he was my first producer, it was quite like I want to know what it feels like to work with loads of people. Like I don't necessarily want to be an artist that like has one producer and works with the same one their whole lives. Like I want to know what it feels like to collaborate in a way. Like I want different perspectives. So yeah, and also I like the music that I published, but I think I have much better ones, sort of in the start lines, like ready to be released, and I have like a little bit. The vision I have for them is a little bit different. I like what I posted, but I think I've definitely evolved since then. So yeah, I'm excited for the next project.
Let's talk about your creative process. So the way you are actually creating a song, do you talk?
So it's quite varied. I'm a little bit of a writing machine, so that's something I've never really had an issue with, just because I have so much in my mind all the time, and I talk quite a lot, and I write so much. I mean, just before you came on, I was journaling, so I'm constantly just like my head is always working in overload. So when I write, it's like a real relief because I can channel it into something. So I barely need inspiration. And I get inspired by movies or other artists or just events in my life. I think love is the thing I write about all the time. Like the moment I fall in love with someone, like I will not stop writing. So I think love is probably my biggest inspiration. And I just sit down with my guitar and I just let it flow, whatever comes. And often a song will be written like, in a minute. And sometimes it takes a couple of days, but it's usually quite a quick cathartic process, and I always let it flow. Like I don't really change things after I've written them, and I don't overthink what I write. I just let it come out, and it usually makes sense. Yeah. Do you hear a meowing in the background?
Do I have what?
I have a cat, and she's like,
no, I don't have.
going through something. So she's like,
no.
Making some music as well.
No, I don't hear it. No. But whenever you're done with the guitar part for your song, then you just record like a video and you send it out to the music producer, and he is working. How?
So the way I worked with my producer was very different to the way I usually work, which was partially the reason that I wanted to sort of move on a little bit, because when I wrote with him, when I write on my own, I write with my guitar, and the lyrics and the melody come out at the same time. And it's the same when I do little productions on my computer. It's usually like a really cathartic process, and it all happens and it all flows out of one source. And with him, it was more like he would send me different beats that he had made, and I would pick one and write over it, except for Ascension and Storms Like These, which I wrote on guitar.
Real me, I can't hide. In storms like these, I dance wild.
But the original version sounded so different. So I like having someone send me something, but I prefer it coming out of me first, because it feels natural.
Basically, you had to top line already the beats that he created. So, okay.
Yeah, exactly. I had to adapt, and it was weird because obviously I hired him to to do something. So it was a little bit of a disbalance. It didn't feel as honest to me as it could have, but it was very simple stuff. Like he would just send me a couple of piano notes and I would play something over it, which is a pretty standard way of producing songs. Like I know many artists work like that. But yeah, so he would write a little piano thing. I would come up with lyrics. I would write the whole thing with a loop. And then we would go to the studio, record the vocals, usually in one day. And then we would together sit down and think about different instruments that we could layer over it and like a way of composing it. So it was, it was a collaborative process, but the initial thing was usually a sort of loop,
Mm-hmm. And here is something that's going to be very useful to other musicians, singers who are looking into producers. How did you find your music producer? Where did you find him?
I think I found him on Facebook, or Instagram. It was some social media that I found him on or maybe I found him on Tinder, actually. I think I found him on Tinder. So I moved to, yeah, I moved to Berlin. It was 2018 in December. And or maybe it was Bumble. You know how there's like a business function?
Mm-hmm. No,
Yeah.
no, I don't. No.
Well, there's like a function where you can find friends, and there's a function you can find like professionals, like professionals, like people to collaborate with. It's like a networking thing, right? So I remember he had in his bio, he wrote, "I'm a producer. I'm looking for like people to work with." And so I reached out to him, and I think that's how we started. First, I showed him some things that a previous producer had done that I wasn't happy with. And he said, "Oh, I would change this and that. Like, maybe you could go into more of that direction." And his input was really helpful. So I thought, why not? And then we started, and it was a really quick process. Like, I liked how fast we worked. So that's why I sort of stuck with him. But I think a really useful way to find producers is actually to engage with your local music scene. Like in Berlin, going to these open mics and stuff like that, you would meet other musicians, and then they could connect you to their producers, or they knew of someone. Like I'm about to reach out to someone that a friend recommended to me, who she found, and she was like, "I think this might be a good fit for Oceean." So she messaged me his name and stuff. So I think it's mostly like networking and contacts. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Let's talk about We Want More, We Are Psychopaths.
But we want more. We are psychopaths, lying on your floor. I am made of glass. I can't hide my longing. Can we just pretend? Kissing till it's morning, melting in your head.
Oh, Psychopaths, the song.
Yeah.
That's actually the first song I wrote with him. And it's my favorite, I think, I've made with him. I love it. I think it was very honest. It came from a super vulnerable place. And yeah, I remember it was the first song that came together that sounded really professional. That made me really excited because it was like a step up from what I've been doing. So I really love that song, but I think it's quite. I would think that it would be relatable to a lot of people, like when you're with someone and you only just meet them, but you make up all these stories in your head, and so you're constantly like sort of fighting between like what's actually happening and the potential of that person. So that's sort of what it's about. And then, you get called crazy because you're constantly calling them. Not that I do that.
Not that I do that.
No, I have a friend who like.
What is your plan for 2021?
So I only just got back to London. I was away for Christmas, and so yesterday I had a little writing session, and I found some old songs that I really loved, and like I don't know, like sorted them a little bit. So I think this year I definitely want to work with different producers and find out like a little more precisely what my sound should be and the best way to because I got wrapped up a little bit. I was trying to like fit some sort of like create a song, like create a hit, right? Like create something that's a little bit more mainstream that more people would want to listen to, and it sort of sidetracked what I actually want to do with my music, why I actually love music. Like for a while I didn't even want to write because my motivation was so misaligned. So I realized that I don't want to like be like I don't want the music to service me. Like I want to service my music, right? Like I'm only the vessel, and I want to do what's best for the song, to like have the most impact and just touch the most people, you know. So I want to find out in what way I could rearrange these songs that I have to make them sound really amazing, and then release a couple of really great songs, maybe before summer, and then play them live once we're allowed to play again.
But that's interesting, really. Also, you have to get rid of that cat.
Yeah, do you hear it?
Yeah.
I feel really bad for her. I think she's in heat. I think she needs to mate. But she's an indoor cat, so there's not much I can do about it.
Yeah,
But I had a little bit of a rough night.
When you are talking about your writing sessions, how does it work? Is it pen and notebook, or is it like directly with the guitar?
I have my guitar and my computer, so I write all my songs in the Notes app on my computer. And I've written songs before in my journal, but it feels really, really different, and I find that the songs turn out differently. So I don't know. I used to have this theory about, you know, the right and the left side of your brain, and the right side of your brain is your more structured, and the left side of your brain is your more creative. And so I write with my right hand, and I type with both hands. So it almost feels like I'm engaging different parts of my brain. I don't know if this is scientific whatsoever, but it feels like that. So I feel like the best way that I can write songs is typing them out. Yeah. So I usually will play chords, you know, like 4 different chords, and see how they fit together, feel what emotions it evokes, and just sort of what is on my heart and my mind, and then, you know, I'll type a little bit, and then I'll play it and see how it sounds, and that's sort of how it flows, like a back and forth between my brain and my hands.
The chords come first, or lyrics come first?
The chords come first. I think the chords and the melody, they set the tone and sort of tell me intuitively like where I am at. Like if I play a lot of major chords, like or minor chords, you know, it's sort of if I'm happy or sad or angry, like that is quickly established with how I pick, or the sort of strength or whatever. Like it's sort of a really, yeah, keep saying cathartic, but that's how it feels. Yeah.
Pretty interesting, really, the whole creative process. Like everybody has it. What about your days? What do you do in your day normally?
So I like to wake up pretty early. I do work for sort of an art institution company on the side, and so during the week I will work for them 3 or 4 days, and then on the days that I'm not working and the days I'm working, I mean, I wake up pretty early, then I meditate, then I journal a little bit. I like to journal like early in the morning when nothing, sort of when I haven't consumed things yet. Like I usually go on Instagram in the morning, but I try to sit down in silence for a little bit and like see where I'm at, and yeah, and then I'll like, I think I do a lot more admin stuff in the morning, or I'll be journaling. Like I'm pretty I can show you a little bit what my journals look like, but I see them as sort of like an extension of my creative process. So they're like super colorful and like a little bit crazy. Yeah, so I'm usually just sitting here in the mornings writing, like sticking things into my book. And then towards like lunchtime, after lunchtime, and for the rest of the evening, like I think between 3 and 7 is when I usually have like a writing session of like maybe 2 hours. yeah, and then I read, and I try to watch movies that aren't like I don't know. I try to challenge myself a little bit with what I consume, but sometimes I get lazy and I just like watch Grey's Anatomy for like a couple of hours. So yeah.
The journaling, do you do it really every day?
Yeah, almost every day. I mean, when I get into the habit, obviously now when I was gone, I was a little bit all over the place anyway. I wasn't really following any of my routines. But when I'm at home, I would say I journal like at least an hour a day.
Wow.
Yeah. And needed. It's like this constant, like I just think so much. So it's really hard to to like live in my body with my brain without constantly sort of dumping everything out. Otherwise I just go crazy.
This leads me to a question. How are your evenings usually? Because if you have a racing mind, then you know, in the evening it's difficult to fall asleep and such.
Yeah, I think because I do all these things, I have a pretty easy time falling asleep. I mean, I like to stay up late and I like to wake up early. Like I don't love sleep. I really like existing and like living because I have so much to do. You know, there's so much. Oh my gosh, sorry. So I don't love sleeping. I like waking up early and going to sleep late. But during my day, I do enough things to calm me down. So in the evening, like I have dinner super early, and then I'll do some writing. I might watch a show. I will read for like at least 20 to 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I do some like body weight exercises. I usually go on a run in the evenings, but at the moment it's too cold. So yeah, and I journal. Like the evenings are pretty nice. Like I have an infrared lamp, and so my room is really like glowing and red, and it's really warm. And I love being in my bed and stuff. Like I love cozy time. So yeah. I don't know if that answers your questions. I do a lot of things.
Yeah, it does. But I was wondering because you said you like to dine early. So what time is early dinner for you?
Like 5 or 6.
5 or 6. Yeah, I have the same thing. I like to dine well at 6, and because it gives me still. I go to bed around 10, and I like to stay up reading still in bed. But that gives me already, you know, the stomach doesn't need to work in bed. Otherwise, I don't feel good, and it's difficult to fall asleep. I have problems with sleeping anyway, so it's another thing.
I have this app, by the way. It's called Sleep Cycle.
Uh-huh.
And it's so amazing. I only got it like a month or 2 ago, and it basically records you and it tells you how long it takes you to fall asleep. It tells you like how much you move and stuff, and it records anything that you say in your sleep or any snoring, or it's really interesting. So then in the morning you can like listen to what you said and hold on, I'm gonna just like try to figure out.
Yes.
Nicole, could you take Pearl for a second?
It's okay.
This is her.
Oh, what's the breed?
It's a ragdoll.
Huh?
Hi, could you take her for a little bit? I'm doing an interview.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Bye, Pearl. Feel better. Yeah, she's adorable, but she is really going through something.
Is there anything new that you want to learn?
Is there anything new? Yes. I really want to get an electric guitar. I think I want to get into that next, and I want to get better at all the other things that I do, like singing. Like I want to branch out a little bit. I want to learn some new guitar chords. I think I'm quite good at staying in my comfort zone, and I like to feel like I'm good at things, right? Like I don't love a challenge. I like things to be easy. So once I have my chords, I think I should challenge myself a little more, is what I'm trying to say, because then I have more space to create and just have more variety.
Mm-hmm. Going back to your creative process, I was wondering which tools are you working with when you record your stuff?
I use pretty simple stuff like an interface, a mic, I have a little Arturia like MIDI keyboard. I have some, like I have a sort of like pedal thing. Obviously my guitar is an acoustic guitar, so I'll usually record it via my mic. So when I go into the studio, obviously the setup is much more elaborate. So the songs that I have on Spotify, they weren't recorded at home, they were recorded at a studio. But I think the setup I have is like, it's I've had it since I really started writing. So it's just like a Shure mic, which I found the mic that Bon Iver used for his album For Emma Forever Ago, which is one of my favorite albums of all time. So I thought if it's good enough for Bon Iver, then it's good enough for me. Yeah.
And you work with GarageBand or which
I work
during your creative process?
With Logic.
With Logic.
Yeah. I think Logic is easy. Yeah. Because it's very similar to GarageBand, and I was using that before. And then I bought Logic a couple of years ago. I think it's the most straightforward for me. It feels the most intuitive. I think Ableton, I don't know. I think you can do more with Ableton, but I really need to take some time and sit down with it for like a couple of weeks. And I don't like learning. So
when we spoke about you taking inspiration from everywhere, and you say that there are some artists that you like, what music do you like? Except
well, I love Lana Del Rey. She's amazing, especially her unreleased stuff. I love. I love Florence and the Machine. I love Stevie Nicks. I was listening to Joan Baez this morning. I like Kate Bush. I really like Taylor Swift. I think she's an amazing writer. I love her latest albums. Just so beautiful. And I've loved her forever. She was the first artist that I liked, so I've sort of stuck with her. And I actually love, I'm just going through my Spotify. I really love Jack Antonoff, and he works with both Taylor Swift and
Lana Del Rey.
Yeah. I really love like old jazz from the 20s or 30s, and I love the 60s French music. I'm a big fan of like Serge and Jane Birkin, like Serge Gainsbourg, and then Sufjan Stevens. My favorite movie is Call Me by Your Name, so I love that soundtrack. Yeah, you get the idea. It's like
Sufjan Stevens is so cool, yeah.
Yeah.
So if we talk about advices to give to people that are starting to sing and creating their own universe, what can you recommend?
I think to make sure you remind yourself of your motivations and make sure you check in with yourself. I think when I create because I have to, when I sit down to write a song because I really have to get it off my chest, it's when I write the best music. And when I write something because I want to write or because I want to make a hit or impress someone, like that never works out. So I always make sure that it comes from a really honest place and that I do it for myself. And in order to stay inspired, I would say just like live an exciting life, just make sure you do things every day that inspire you and that make you feel good. And consuming other artists is good, obviously watching movies and listening to music, but I think more than anything it's important that you also take time to be yourself and to know yourself so that you have something really unique to bring to your work, I would say.
No, that's beautiful, beautiful. And about mental health, are there any tricks and life hacks that you can share?
I think journaling is amazing. I think I feel the most sane when I read. Actually, I think reading is amazing because it it's, I don't know why it's so much more wholesome than watching something. I think, I guess because you can make up your own worlds in your head, and it's like it feels more intimate. I think reading is just so it feels so secretive, and so I don't know. I think reading is like the best thing you can do for yourself and your mind. And yeah, and I mean the classic of if not being on Instagram loads and not really comparing yourself to people and stuff like that, which I'm not too good at, but it's easy enough to unfollow people and mute people now. So just trying, I guess, like being with yourself and living in your own world, instead of like letting yourself be dragged in all these different directions. Just like being really centered and making sure you're really selective about what people and what things you let into your life, I would say.
Yeah. And I was wondering, if someone wants to collaborate with you, how can they interest you? How can they catch your attention?
I guess if I like what they're doing, if I think if it feels right, I suppose I think I'm super open about collaborating with people, but it has to make sense, I guess. Yeah, I would have to see what they do, and if it feels like they really connect with my work, and it's not just like, oh, I'm reaching out to everyone because I want to like network and whatever. It's like someone who really sees what I do, and we connect in some sort of different like dimensional way. Like I like to look at collaborations like there's a cloud floating by, which is the creative project that you could potentially do together. And certain people have access to this cloud. And if I find someone who has access to the same cloud that I have access to, then I feel like that's someone I could work with.
Nice. It's really nicely said. I mean, you have your own view on it, and you have your rights to collaborate with the same person who has the same kind of a mindset and idea. So it's really nice. It also shows that you are not sharing your bubble with anyone. You are really looking for your kind of a people. Who do you want to amplify?
I thought about this. I think my friend Shiro, I think that's how you say his name. I only know him. No, I actually met him because he went to a concert of mine. He really likes Lana, and I did Lana Del Rey like cover song concert when she canceled her London concert, and he came to that. So his name on Instagram is Zero Music, and he's a singer, songwriter, and producer. He's one of the kindest people ever, and yeah, his music's great. So I think you would like him.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna contact him. So tell us, where can we find you?
We currently can find me on Instagram at Ocean Leclerc. My other account is Ocean and the Waves, but it's currently disabled for very mysterious reasons. I have no idea why, and I hope it comes back. And then obviously on YouTube and Spotify, which I can send you my handles to that. But yeah, I'm posting a lot of art at the moment on my other account. So yeah, a lot of my journals as well, if you're interested.
Very nice. Thank you very much, Ocean. Lovely interview. Thanks for sharing what is important for you. Thanks for sharing all the advices for our viewers and listeners. I had a real pleasure talking to you. Thanks for finding the time. And well, see you on Instagram, I guess.
I will see you around.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for staying till the end of the episode. Make sure to subscribe. I don't know where it's going to be. Anyway, make sure to support the artist, support Ocean, support Selena, support myself, because we need your love. And have a nice summer!
Tell me, am I too much? much? Tell me, did I lose? Breathing you in, baby, I can get enough of you. And I leave your place, wanting more. Tell me, are we getting there, or is this just a ride? Circling on steel attached to metal wires. We're trapped. I need to fall authentically. I force myself into your life and you'll never know. But there's a voice in every guy that makes it run cold. Did you run cold? But we want more. We are psychopaths. Lying on your floor, I am made of glass. I can't hide my longing. Can we just pretend? Kissing till it's morning, melting in your head. I wrote you a letter before we even met. Borrowing your sweater, hiding in your bed. I'm sweet, like a doll undressing me. And I know your brain is of a different kind. You can see the future like me looking in your eyes. Girls love to love until it hurts. I try to be sexy because that's what you meant, like riding you like a taxi. Let me be perfect.